I recently read a post online that really struck me. It was written by someone who used to work for a top 500 company and often travel to Shenzhen for business. He said something that perfectly captures how China has changed over the past decade. Back in 2012, Shenzhen was like a city on fire. Not literally, but in terms of energy and creativity. Everyone was full of passion. People stayed up all night working on new ideas, new products, and new startups. You could feel this collective drive in the air, a kind of hunger to create, to achieve, to prove something to the world. But then, a few years later, in 2016, when he visited again, the atmosphere had shifted. The passion was still there, but the creativity had faded. People were still working hard, but they were following rules, systems, and expectations rather than creating something truly new. It was like the city had gone from being a startup to a corporation. Still efficient, but no longer inspired. And when he went again this year, he said something that made me pause. He said Shenzhen felt dead, not in terms of economy or buildings, but in terms of spirit. People weren't smiling anymore. They were working, yes, but without purpose. The fire was gone. Everyone just did what they were told and no one cared to dream anymore. It was as if people were just surviving, not living. Honestly, I think this change doesn't just apply to Shenzhen. In my opinion, it reflects a broader reality across China today. Many cities that used to be full of energy, like Hangzhou, Guangzhou, or even Beijing, are now caught in a cycle of overwork, pressure, and exhaustion. The economic growth is slowing down. Competition is getting fiercer, and young people are starting to feel that no matter how hard they work, their effort doesn't necessarily lead to a better life. So naturally, people lose their motivation. If you think about it, this is not just about economics, it's psychological. When people feel that their contribution doesn't make a difference, they stop trying. When society values results more than passion, people stop caring about creativity. And when every dream must be practical, people stop dreaming altogether. I think that's what we are visiting now. But I don't want to sound too pessimistic. I still believe that somewhere deep down, the spark is still there. It's just buried under layers of stress, fear, and fatigue. Maybe what China needs right now is not another economic reform, but a cultural one. Something that reminds people that innovation starts with passion, not pressure. I think cities like Shenzhen once represented the best of China, brave, young, and full of imagination. And maybe if the environment changes again, if society gives people space to think freely, to feel, to try, then that energy will come back. Because I truly believe the Chinese people are not lazy, they're just tired of meaningless work, tired of chasing something that feels empty. So to answer the question, yes, I do think what's happening in Shenzhen is reflection of what's happening in many parts of China. But it's not the end of the story. Every generation has its rise and fall, and maybe now it's time for people to pause, rethink, and find new reasons to live. not because they have to, but because they want to.